Odessa, Florida, this suburban area on the north side of Tampa. I've talked about it before. Let's go through some pros and cons. Here we go. I'm Sam, and thanks for coming by the Living in Tampa channel, where we make videos about what it's like to live and move and kind of everything to know about the Tampa area. And we do talk a lot about real estate. We are a team of realtors here in the area, so if you have any real estate specific needs or questions, we would love to hear from you anytime. Our phone number and email are right there on the screen. But today we're going to talk about Odessa. Odessa, like I said, the suburban area kind of on the north side of Tampa. If you want to know a little bit more about kind of what makes up this area, I made this video talking about my clients Garrett and Kristen, kind of why they chose Odessa, why they think it's going to be the right fit for them. And you might fit that criteria too. So go check out this video linked above, their story, and we kind of dig into Odessa. But right now, let's do pros and cons. Pro number one, it has some rural vibes. So what does that mean? There are some areas that feel not so congested, that don't feel so city-like, not even feel suburban, but feel like, this feels like old Tampa, or still see some livestock, some of that vibe. Okay, pro number two, and this might seem contrary to pro number one of rural being available, but you also have suburb vibe very available. There's a lot of new construction in this area, and it has a very suburban vibe, especially along Highway 54, as all kinds of stuff is being built along this path that goes east and west across the north side of the Tampa area. Pro number three, there's a lot of new construction available, whether that's Starkey Ranch, Astoria, Bexley, the Preserve, or all kinds of other little pocket neighborhoods. Whether you want brand new or you want new-ish, nearly new, 5 years old, there's a lot of that kind of stuff available. Pro number four for Odessa is it's very well planned. And some people that live there and on the Keystone side are shaking their fists at me as they say that, because there's kind of some new development going on and they're kind of opposing it. There's this big Keystone project, Project Keystone. A lot of people have these banners on the front of their properties because this new development is coming into a pretty underdeveloped area and really kind of changing the feel of it. I would be opposing it too if I was them. But in general, all of this area up north where all these new neighborhoods are, they feel like they're not overdeveloped. Yeah, Starkey Ranch feels really big, but then these neighborhoods, they have their own Publix in the front of the neighborhood very often. And you have all these kind of amenities at arm's reach without having to go all the way into Tampa. But if you do need to go all the way into Tampa, this is pro number five. You have the Veterans Expressway, Highway 589, is a very easy shot into downtown. And that was one of the requirements for my clients, Garrett and Kristen. Kristen was gonna work downtown and really wanted an easy commute. She was okay with the 30-minute commute, but wanted it to feel really easy. And 589 offers that kind of a feel to Odessa. All right, now for the cons of Odessa. Like I said before, the rural is disappearing a little bit. And maybe these people are opposing it so much because it's kind of the writing on the wall where they feel like, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Sorry to use so many analogies all of a sudden, but it's kind of sad to see some of that area getting plowed down. Con number two, it's kind of a must commute area. There's not a lot of big employers unless you're, working at a front office at an apartment building or working at a grocery store or fast food or self-storage. That's kind of the suburban kind of employers that are out there. So if you're needing to work at for a bigger employer, you're likely commuting into Tampa somewhere, whether that's to the airport, to downtown, or to other parts of kind of the central hub of the city. And like I said before, that commute's not too bad, but it's still kind of a must commute area. Con number three, this is kind of a personal one to me, and maybe this wouldn't bother you at all, but there is noise associated with growth. With all this new development, as they built a lot of new neighborhoods, there was noise with that. And as they build all the infrastructure and businesses and services that support all those new residents, there's noise associated with that. There's something kind of comforting to me about living in an area that's already developed, where you don't have all of that noise. When I'm at home, I want a little more peace and quiet. Con number four, maybe you don't care about this, but someone brought it up to me recently. Actually, Garrett and Kristen, who are wanting to move to Odessa, I brought up that there's a lot of new apartments being built, and they saw that as a negative. In this part of Tampa, I definitely don't see that as a negative, but where they were moving from, they associated a negative environment with apartments, with tenants, with that kind of thing. There are a lot of new apartments, a lot of big, nice new apartments all along this Odessa area that are sprouting up. Con number 5, and maybe one of the biggest cons of the Odessa area, is CDDs, Community Development Deeds. These are additional taxes added to your property tax to pay for building out the sewer systems and water and all of this infrastructure associated with building a new neighborhood, with building all of this new stuff. This expense gets passed on to residents in a 20 to 30 year bond that gets paid with your property taxes. So if you're buying a house in this area, this is something that we would be pointing out to you. This is how much additional tax you're gonna pay because of this being a newer area. This CDD is this additional amount. This ranges from like, $900 a year to $3,500 a year, depending on the neighborhood, depending on the actual property, all of those kind of things. So these are some of the pros and cons of the Odessa area. Very well-loved area. Actually, an area I really, really like. I like the rural side a little more than the suburban side, but there's a lot of everything in between. And if you're interested in this area or anywhere in Tampa or anywhere in Florida, we would love to hear from you. Our phone number and email are right there on the screen. Please reach out to us, then we can set up a Zoom call. Let's spend 30 minutes kind of digging into what you're looking for and how we can help. And if you missed the last Odessa video, it's linked right here again. Thanks for coming by.